Now that the main fire is over and the actual disaster and the impact has been felt by various communities in the Southern Cape, we now want to have a look at what lessons can we learn from this incident. So we're doing a number of different things. We're trying to access as much information as possible directly from the public, but also through other sources. We also have other colleagues and organizations throughout the world, for example, satellite data and images, which will give us an idea of where the fire started and how it spread and the path that it took and the various communities that it ravished, but also providing more detail as to some of those dwellings and the destruction that took place. But yeah, on the ground, we're working with Vulcan Wildfire Management, and we're also looking at other issues, things like the risks to dwellings and communities throughout the area that was involved in this fire. And in particular, like here, this particular structure, having a closer look at the structures and why some structures survived and why others were completely destroyed. And often people believe that it was simply an act of God or that they were lucky. We feel that there were very specific reasons as to why certain structures were impacted by the fire and why others actually were either impacted very little or not at all. So there are certain things that people can do to protect their properties, and we want to highlight that through taking a closer look at the dwellings that were destroyed and those that survived.
You cannot exist on your own. You need partners. You need to get involved, and especially if you're in a small municipality. You need to rely on partners. You need to foster those relationships, not only during an emergency, but long before then.
A little bit of worth or sense is to build relationship with your next door neighbor and with people within your community that you can pull in to come and assist you, even if it's just for administration or is it just help to make some coffee. You need those people in an event like this, and you never prepare for it. You always say it will be what will happen with somebody else, but when it happens, you need to be able to pick up a phone and phone Gerard Otto's and the Joeys and whoever to say, come and help, please. We need your help now, and they're more than willing to come and assist. And I think that helped a lot in our situation.
We always think it'll never happen to me. And if you normally you plan for something you think you can deal with. Next time when you plan for something you think you can't deal with. Plan for the worst. Plan for evacuating a whole town. I've asked colleagues of mine and I've asked them, have you ever thought about evacuating a whole town? Have you ever thought of evacuating a Knysna with fires on the east and the western side? Only area where you could go to the lagoon. No way to get into that area. If you plan again, plan for the worst, because then anything less than the worst you will be able to deal with.
Communities must get organized, and if we had not been organized, we would have had a much bigger disaster here. And I think that showed it. So, we need to be organized with our own plans, because Peter Myers said, after 5 minutes they knew that the disaster plan for the town was useless. They had never expected anything of this kind of thing. So I think we've got to be organized.
It's not business usual, it's now business unusual. And these events are becoming the new norm and will happen more and more frequently.
Get rid of unnecessary debris. Don't let the trees and the bushes and that be right up against the house, under the eaves of the roof.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, really. It's so much cheaper to prevent fires than to fight them. And there's a lot that can be done, but it does need a joint effort, and we also need, I think, municipality to recognize the unique situation that we're sitting in. As an urban interface area, we are a bosom. We're neither bosom nor bottom. So we're not fully rural, and we're not fully municipal.
Where we were all awake, you know, you're talking about family dinner time when it hit us. So we were all awake. Had that fire hit 2:30 in the morning when everybody was asleep, I can guarantee you that most of the people in this area would be dead. If not from the fire, from smoke inhalation, because they had been sleeping. It happened so quickly that there was no time to react. Nobody would have been watching the smoke at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know. So that's also part of the miracle, I think. I mean, it's amazing actually how things work. But yeah, it could have been so much worse.
We should learn from this. And Tony, Madre, and little Michael, and the other people that lost their lives. There were 7 people that lost their lives. There were firefighters that lost their lives. You know, leadership, guidance, help. We've got an education crisis. And we need to ensure that people are educated to know what to do. We need the people that are leading people to be educated to know how to lead and how to make decisions and how to use technology. There isn't a shortage of scientists and technology. There's a shortage of people that's actually been educated how to utilize it as a product. So I'm hoping really that from this, in honor of Tony, Madre, and little Michael, that this process now can become national. It's not a Knysna problem. It's a country problem. And we need to take this now and say, this will not happen again.